is almost unnatural, indomitable. As my dear friend Ronnie just said, that's a t-shirt, so I'm gonna have to get that. Oh my God, North Texas, Dallas, it's such a pleasure to be here with you this afternoon. I do want you to know you are well represented on the national board by Commissioner Hightower. Texas, oh my, we were in Houston yesterday, had two fabulous events. All the rumors I heard about Texas, this can't be true. There are progressives in the great state of Texas. And you know, from Saturday night to now on a Sunday where you can be anywhere in the world doing anything, with the fact that you are here at Max with us, eat some fabulous pizza. Shout out to folks, if you are in North Texas, in the Dallas area, you got to come to Max. Best pizza in Texas. So, you know, there's a lot going on in this country right now, but I came to remind you that when conscious-minded people get together to do the thing, there are very few forces on this earth that can stop us. And I know that at times it gets very disappointing, it gets daunting, but we must never get weary in well-doing. I had the opportunity to talk to Mickey and Pat, and I am putting them on the spot. They didn't know I was going to tell this story. But about the heaviness that people feel about what's going on in this country right now. And we have every right to be heavy, to feel the heaviness of this moment. And the heaviness is bigger than just one person in the White House. This heaviness has been building year after year after year after year. But we are just at a moment right now in this country, and I say the world, where the straw has broken the camel's back. But we cannot relent on this beautiful mission, this beautiful journey that we are on for transcendence. I'm not willing to accept anything less than transcendence. And in order for us to have transcendence, we need people who are committed, people who are called to purposes higher than themselves. And I do agree with the commissioner in that we do get caught up with personalities that we elect, and electing good people is a beautiful thing. But once we elect folks to office, we the people must keep them on the path by which they said they would stand. And we can't be so in love with one person or one party that we're unwilling to hold people accountable, because the power belongs to you. And to you, and to you, and to you, and to you. It is our power, not their power. And it's okay to critique people every now and then. You don't have to talk about their mama, their daddy, their dog, their cat. But you do have to critique what they said on the campaign trail and what they actually do. And that is okay. And if there ever comes a time when somebody who you put into office is not upholding to the values by which you put them in, then it is okay to say to them, you got to go. We cannot be so beholden. And that is the beautiful thing about our revolution, because we are omnipartisan in our revolution. The only party that we subscribe to in our revolution is the party of the RT, and that is the party of the right thing. We want more elected officials to do the right thing. And the only way that they will continue to do the right thing is if they know that we, the people, are going to critique their record and hold them accountable. And it is okay. So in this moment, progressives, we need many champions, as the commissioner has laid out. It's not just a champion in the White House, although that would be good. And in 2020, we are going to turn that around. I am so excited. If the senator runs, baby, I'm right there with him all the way, all the way, all the way, all the way. We're going to shake this thing up and show people how it's really done. But just know that the forces of neoliberals or the corporatists in both parties are not just going to stand idly by and let progressives do what we know we need to do. We got to understand this. Brother Frederick Douglass said it this way. He said, power conceives nothing without a demand. Without a struggle, it never has and it never will. So progressives, for us, this is about getting the power, whether it's city council members or mayors or township trustee members or governors or members of the legislature. As Brother Hightower laid out, you guys are about 8 to 9 seats away from taking over the House of Representatives on the state level, which is why it is so important that you all are not just sitting back waiting on Washington to do something, that you are pushing a Healthy Texas agenda to show this country what it is all about. It's about vision. So in this heavy moment, though, because I feel it everywhere that I go, I want you to know that on this justice journey, and that is the journey that we are on, that every generation is charged with making things better for the next. Brother Hightower and I, Rania, were reminiscing about our track days. We discovered that we both were sprinters. And I want to describe the 440 relay race and wrap that around life. The folks who run the relay, they're a team. They practice together, they train together, they talk together. They understand that it takes teamwork to make the dream work. And it's all about timing. If you watch the Olympics and you see those runners, or you go to a college track meet or a high school track meet, you know that unlike any other race within the races, the 440 relay is about teamwork. And that is life. Now, I was the first leg of the 440 because I was fast. And my job, my assignment, because trust me, sisters and brothers, I want you to follow me on this. Everybody has an assignment. My assignment, being the first leg of the relay race, was to get the lead. That was my assignment. The second leg of the race, their assignment was for us to be in sync. We had to be synchronized, because if you pass the baton too fast, it could drop. You pass it too slow, it can drop. You got to pass it so that it is just right. The second leg of the relay, their job is to keep the lead and advance the lead. And then the third leg of the relay race, she's waiting. And in her head is, I got to be right on time so that the baton does not drop. Pass the baton to the third leg of the race, and her job is to keep the lead and advance the lead. And the anchor runner is right there, and she is waiting to get the baton. And she knows what all of her teammates know, is that she must get that baton right on time. Her job is to keep the lead and bring it on home to the finish line. What is the moral of your story, S&T? The moral of my story is this, is that life is very much like a relay race. Every generation is charged with advancing the causes of justice for the next generation, who is in waiting to get that baton to advance the causes of justice, to keep what justice we have gained, and to advance another level of justice. Sometimes it may feel as though the other side is winning. But as long as we are committed to continue to run the race in a conscious-minded way, the rainbow mosaic of humanity that we are, we will ultimately win. The difference between relay races and life is that there is never a finish line. We are never finished fighting for justice, because every time we think that we have solved the puzzle, the riddle, the equation, something else pops up to remind us that we have not. Blackface in Virginia on the first day of Black History Month, to remind us that anti-Black racism is still very much alive in America. We thought we had overcome that, but we are reminded that we still have many more miles to go. If you take any issue that is worth fighting for, paying women their whole damn dollar, making sure that our children receive a high quality education no matter what zip code they live in, doing away with income and wealth inequality, reforming a criminal justice system that sees Black and brown and poor folks as more criminal than anybody else. This justice journey requires people who are committed to running the race, gaining the lead, advancing the lead, and willing to pass the baton to the next generation. This is a generational struggle, sisters and brothers, and it never ends. But one of the ways that we can do what it is that we know we must do is to be willing to use our many hands, because many hands make for light work. Many of you are in this room for different reasons, whether it is the environment or income or women's rights, or for our gay, lesbian, transgender, queer sisters and brothers, those communities. You may be here for clean water, clean food, clean air. You may be here because you just believe that the less than 1% don't deserve to have it all. You may be here because you believe that healthcare in this country should be a right, not connected to a job, but connected to the fact that you are a human being in this world. Whatever you are here for, many hands make the light work. So get on the relay team for justice. Let's run this race together. Let's run this race collectively. And let's understand that some folks have it harder than others, but everybody that is not in the less than 1% is catching some kind of hell. The Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. once said that we all can be great because we all can serve. And we don't need a fancy title to do that. You see, titles are good. They get your phone calls returned. They get you in the room. Titles are very good, but purpose is better. And we need more purpose-driven people committed to doing what is right, even if you must stand alone. As our dear senator mentioned in his video, just almost 3 years ago, they thought that the things that he was talking about, the things that we were fighting for, they thought we were out of our minds. Now, fast forward to 2019, on our way to 2020, and almost every plank of the senator's platform is being echoed by folks who want to run for president of the United States of America. And we got the receipts that Brother Sanders has been preaching and singing the same song for a very, very long time. But that's what a visionary does. A visionary will stand up and preach a certain kind of gospel, even if everybody else thinks that it's foolishness, it's frivolous, it's a pony. I wrote my pony. Oh, man, I was bad. I was a little bad. Let me get back on my script. I'm putting the fun back in party. You gotta tell some truth here. But visionaries are very much ahead of their time. But the senator and no other person that puts their name on the ballot, they can't do these great things without you. Because it really is about you. It does take teamwork to make the dream work, and you are the team, Texas. From Texas to Florida to Alaska to Ohio to Illinois. And all the places in between. We need a conscious-minded, committed people who are part of the rainbow mosaic of humanity to know that we do rise and fall together. Anti-black white supremacy is all of our problem. Not treating our sisters and brothers who are just trying to get to this land to have a better life, not treating them right and processing them in the right way, even with the laws that we have on the books now that some of us want to change. But my God, at least have an administration that would adhere to the laws that we have right now. What happens on the border happens to all of us. Yes. But by the grace of God, it could be us and our families trying to seek refuge in the United States of America. And what is it with the fact that in this country, to be poor has become a crime? Or with people who just simply believe that people wake up every day and say, I just want to be poor. That's what I grew up, that's what I want to do. That's what I aspire to do. Nobody wants to be poor in this life. Everybody wants more. They want to gain. They want to live a good life. Sisters and brothers, we're going to do away with decent. Let's go for good and for great. I do believe that poor people, the workaday people in this country, as Brother Hightower calls them, do deserve to take a vacation every now and then, buy a new car every now and then, have a spa day every now and then. Be able to be at home and have dinner with their children and read to their children instead of going to the third or the fourth job every now and then. People deserve to live a good life. Good life. And that's what our mission is about. about. And our mission is so high we can't get over it. And our mission is so low we can't get under it. And our mission is so wide we can't get around it. We are the ones that when the history is written about what happened in the 21st century and how the progressives of this generation shook it up, hashtag show enough work and letting the world know that we will stand up for every human being in this country to be able to live in dignity and equality with justice for all, not for some, not for the wealthiest interests in this country, but for, in the words of my grandmother, lottie-dottie and everybody. That is what we stand for. And for our revolution, that is our mission, which is to elect progressives all the way from the local level to the President of the United States of America. And baby, if we get the chance, it don't get more progressive than Senator Bernard Sanders running over that. But even if he does, as Brother Hightower has laid out, he can't do it by himself. He does need progressive mayors and city council members. Members of the state legislature. The reason why the state legislature is important, it is important not just because I served there, but it is important. Well, it's kind of important because I served there. But it is important because we have a census coming up. And the lines will be redrawn in 2021. And we need to have elected officials in the legislature. So we can't sleep on the legislature on our way to the White House. So all of those positions are so important. You are important to this equation. Because sisters and brothers, can I tell you this? Only all that we love is on the line. That's all. That's it. Nothing big, just all that you love is on the line. So whenever you get weary, whenever you doubt what you can do to be the difference, I want you to remember that only all that you love is on the line. It's the same feeling that the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. and his contemporaries had as they challenged this country to treat its, in their words, Negro citizens as equals. It's the same feeling that the suffragettes had. Even in all their imperfection, all those movements were imperfect, but fighting for women to have the right to vote, it was the same feeling that the abolitionists had as they fought alongside of the black slaves in this country to seek a type of freedom and to be recognized as human beings. It was all that they loved. And you can pick any great movement in this country, from civil rights, to know what was on the line and what was in the minds of the people who were fighting against the status quo in their time. Think about that. During Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, we waxed poetic about how great he was, but none of us, rarely any of us, remember that he was one of the most hated men in the country at the time. And if some of these people who occupy the neoliberal space, the status quo space, if they were alive when he was alive, or if they were in that movement when he was in the movement, if they had the power at the time, it was those same people telling him, you're reaching too high, you're dreaming too big, you want too many ponies. When all he was asking for is for black folks to be treated as equals. And to say that the brotherhood, that all of God's creation deserve to live a good life. It is the same thing that Brother Nelson Mandela fought against in South Africa. Coming out to become the first black African president of that country. And when President Nelson Mandela said these words, it always seems impossible until it is done. Those are the words that we must live by. And our protection of Mother Earth, our protection of our children, our care for one another, to know that we are connected because we are all human beings who want to live a good life. Some of our sisters and brothers think we can get there a different way, and that is okay because not everybody has all of the answers, but as long as you are driven by a commitment that says that you will never leave a sister or brother behind, that you will do all that you can in this life. That's all we can ask for. In my close, I want to share just a brief story. I was telling your sisters and brothers in Houston as I was reflecting on the life that I've been privileged to live so far with all of its ups and downs and its turnarounds. That when my mother died at the young age of 42 years old and being the oldest of 7 children, I thought my life was over. I did not know what I was going to do. A young bride with a child and all of my siblings. I'm the oldest of those siblings. The youngest is 12. I'm 22. 7 of us. Mother dies. No money in the bank. No life insurance policy. And dies on the system of welfare. I am a sophomore at a community college trying to become a cycle worker. And I'm having a conversation with the man upstairs, having a very WTF moment, millennials. Before it was a WTF moment. But I did pray. And I said, Lord, if you give me the power, if you give me strength, I will become a cycle breaker. And I will break the cycle of poverty and undereducation in my family's line from my mother's memory. And although my mother never lived to see her oldest daughter do some pretty incredible things, I believe that she's in heaven and she's saying, you go, girl, you kick all kinds of, you know what, on behalf of the people. What I am saying to you is that our stories are our strength. And we all go through things. We're sitting in this room with people. We don't know what the person next to us is going through. We don't know what the person sitting next to us is enduring. But it is incumbent upon us to use our many hands to be the difference, to make a difference, to use our strength to make our lives better and the lives of the people around us, because only all that we love is on the line. We only have one Mother Earth. It is asinine to believe that we should not be taking care of her for ourselves and for the next generation. Because the last time I checked, it don't matter how much money you have. So we must call out injustice wherever it is and fight for justice wherever we are, because only all that we love is on the line. And like the everyday people that transformed this nation, whether it was the abolitionist movement, the suffragettes movement, the civil rights movement, you name your movement, those were everyday people. They were the grassroots, speaking truth to the grass tops. And that is how change happens. And in our lifetime, if we are committed enough, if we are willing to get comfortable with being uncomfortable, the change that we seek is coming. Because we are willing to put the sweat equity. And that every day that we wake up, we realize that only all that we love is on the line. So I close with Sister Harriet Tubman, who said these words, and I hope they inspire you. Brother Hightower, I'm not closing with Grandma today. I'm going to do Sister Harriet. She said, if you hear the dogs barking, keep going. If you see the torches in the woods, keep going. If they're shouting after you, keep going. If you want to taste the freedom, never stop. Keep going. Our revolution at North Texas, to turn this state a bright, burning blue, because any old blue just won't do. I want you to keep going. Healthy Texas, keep going.
Yeah. Right.
Never relent, never give up, never give out. Use your strength and your collective energy to transform this state and this nation into a better place. Everybody who has a hand and you are willing, when you raise both of your hands, I got to see the visual of this. Everybody that has a hand and you're willing, raise your hand. These are the many hands that will make the difference in this state and in the world. God bless you.